Guys. I may or may not have COVID. um, I'm having some weird symptoms that may just be like a flare of my normal stuff, or it could be COVID. So, uh, with that being said, I'll be isolating for a little bit, and that news has me a bit stressed out. Um, so, I get tested on Saturday. I'm going to do a drive-through test at CVS. I've got an appointment. Um, so that's all in the works, but since I'm feeling stressed out, I thought I would do a little like self-care. Um, and I thought that I would share my self-care with you guys because I'm feeling like garbage. And, and this doing my hair and makeup when feeling like garbage is quite a task. So I thought I would share kind of some of my routine hacks with you guys for like when I'm feeling crappy. So we're starting out with I washed this hair last night and I slept on it, and it, obviously is not looking great. So I brushed it just for you guys. But I'm gonna kind of show you like how to go from this to like, all right, like I could go out into the world where I'm not a health hazard to other people. So these are, I think they're called alligator clamps or alligator clips. But they are like the only things that will hold my hair with any sort of consistency. My hair is really like fine and soft, and clips tend to just kind of slip out and they don't grip really well. But these, however, grip really, really well. So I'm going to show you what I do to prep for. I'm going to curl my hair. I don't often straighten it because it comes that way. But I am going to curl it to kind of show you guys like how I manage that on a tough like pain and stress day. So I like to section out my hair before curling so that it's easier to manage the curling process. It's just like section by section versus like trying to do my whole hair, or my whole head of hair rather. So I section it off to make it easier. And the way that you section your hair is gonna really depend on like what side you part it on, how thick your hair is, like how you want it to look when when it is styled. I am doing like a deep side part that's right here. So I want like curls that are gonna be parted and like go this way, if that makes sense. I'm not a hairstylist. This is just what I do at home, that works for me. But I find parting it to be a lot, and then like clipping it to make it a lot easier, especially if I need to pause and take a break because my hands are hurting or my arms are hurting. It's a lot easier to take a break when everything is sectioned and you don't have like uncurled hair sitting on top of curled hair, etc., etc., etc. So, anyways, so I'm doing a section here, and that'll just leave me this bit to curl, and then I section it off, and now that just leaves like this bit. So for the back, I'm doing basically the same thing. Just like making some neat sections. You don't have to make the sections super thin. I used to do that, thinking that the curl would be better or something. I don't know, but like you can do fairly like decent sized sections. My curling iron is heating up as I do this. I'm using I think it's a 3/4 inch. Yeah, it's a 3/4 inch. It doesn't say, but like, I knew I wanted one that was smaller than my 1 inch because I wasn't getting the curl pattern that I wanted. I wanted that like really wavy, loose beach waves kind of do. And because I'm stressed out, I'm also going to do a sheet mask while I'm doing my hair to sort of like give my skin like some nurturing and love. I found these at TJ Maxx for pretty cheap, and they had a bunch of them. But this is, I'm not quite sure what the brand name is. It's all, you know, very, very little of it is in English, but that's okay. But it's a vitamin plus lithospermum essence mask, which made me giggle a lot. If you are on Snapchat, you may or may not have seen my lithospermum definition snap, where I was like, well, that sounds funny, but it's actually supposed to be really good for your skin. So if you've never used a sheet mask, I'll go over how to put this sucker on your face and what you do with all the like goop that's left over in the essence rather. It's not goop, it's just like a serum. But what you do with the leftover juice basically that's in here. So it comes out like this, and you have to very like gently unfold it. And that can be a little bit of a task, but that's okay. It's worth it. It feels weird at first, but so good. It feels so good. It makes my skin feel so nice. So as you can see, we're getting the face shape now. And usually on the back, there's like there's a little panel for your nose that you've got to unfold. And then there's these little eye flaps that you unfold down so that they sit on your under eye. I guess it gives you a little bit of extra juice or something, I don't know. Alright, so we're gonna put it on my face. I'm gonna look real weird during this hair tutorial, but you know, I live to entertain right now. So here goes nothing. So you have to make sure, pull that little nose flap down so that your nose gets some essence too. You kind of have to squish everything. Like, you know, like you would do like the protective screen for your phone, how you kind of have to make sure there's no air bubbles in it and rub it around, make sure it sits tight to the surface, which in this case is your skin. The flaps, if they kind of fold up, you sort of have to unfurl them and make sure that they are attached to your skin. Not attached, it's not gonna like peel off or anything weird, but the mouthpiece is always a little funky, so you kind of have to like move it to where your upper lip sits, and because everybody's got a different shaped face and differently positioned features, so the masks are kind of like a one size fits all sort of deal. So pressing it in, making sure all my face is covered by the mask, so I get maximum face vitamins and lithospermum content. So voila, face mask, and it will mostly stay, the flaps on like your chin and stuff, as the mask starts to dry will kind of they'll fall a little bit, but that's okay. Just like keep adjusting it, keep like squishing it in if it moves. But it just feels super nice on my face. It's really nice if you're stressed out. It just gives you kind of a, it's calming, it's relaxing, it's good for just kind of taking a few minutes for yourself, like some chill time. So with that being said and done, I'm gonna start doing this hair. And the first thing that I do, my most favorite product lately has been the Redken Diamond Oil Glow Dry. So I use this like on the ends of my hair, like with the other products that I use before blow drying my hair, but I also use like a few pumps of this throughout my hair before I curl it. And I've found that it makes my curls really soft and bouncy. The ends of my hair are a little bit more brittle because I color my hair and I bleach it, which is a whole nother video that I would not do. I need like a guest hairstylist to walk us through that. Might bug Malia for that, but this is one of my favorite things. It smells really good. So it's like fresh salon hair, but it also just like makes my curls look really, really pretty, and it helps them to stay. So for the first layer of hair, I'm just going to do like 2 pumps. Just rub it into my hands, and then I start working it through the ends of the hair layer that is currently out and not clipped. And it just really, oh man, it softens your hair, and it also protects it from the heat a little bit. You can also use like a heat protectant spray. That's also something that would help your hair with the curling process. But I just really like this stuff in particular right now. It's my jam. Alright, so I've kind of worked that through my hair. I'm also going to take my brush. I have like 2 combs that I use to style my hair. This is for when I blow dry. And I just got this because my old one was kind of janky. But this is the Nanothermic Ceramic Plus Ion brush from Olivia Garden. And it's got a cute little pink handle, and it's now blue from my hair. But this thing is so good for drying my hair quicker, because like my arms tend to like hurt and my hands hurt from blow drying my hair. So anything that gets the job done quicker but gives it pretty results is a winner in my book. So anyways, but I use this for most of my post blow dry styling needs, because it combs through your hair, and then it also is a teasing brush. But I'm just brushing the product through the ends of my hair just to make sure it's all thoroughly distributed. Alright, so my curling iron is ready. Let's get it started. So this is about let me see, you guys need either a little bit more light from the ring light or a little bit less. There you go. You can see this is like the width and the thickness. This is like as much hair as I would try to curl at one time, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. If you use a bigger section, the curl will be bigger. If you use a smaller section, the curl will be tighter. So I've been really digging the kind of like loose, beachy, curled look, which ironically requires tight curls for me because my hair is so straight. So I use the curling iron vertical instead of like horizontal like this, because this gives you more of that like twirly ringlet pattern. as you can see. Alright, so I'm going to pull up the next section of hair. It's a little wider than I want it to be, so I'm going to pull some of that hair from the back, and I think that's fine. Let's see. Oh, no, missed one. Missed a strand in here. Always gotta check back with your fingers and make sure you didn't miss anything in the back. Because it will mess up your look. Alright, so first layer done. So I'm gonna take Sexy Hair. It's my favorite hairspray. I'm running out. It sucks. Especially now that I'm kind of self-isolating. So just lightly spray those curls to set them. Alright. So you can kind of see what the curl pattern be looking like. It's cute, I think. So I'm gonna release the section. And from here on out, I do it one section at a time. One section. I do not release like multiple sections at a time. That's confusing. I don't like it. So one at a time. Slow and steady wins the race, y'all. Or slow and steady gets glam. I don't know. So I just put more of that hair serum on the ends of my hair. Making sure to get as much of it in there as possible. Oop, picked up a curl, that's okay. Alright, and I'm going to brush that section through just like I did with the others. And then that stuff is really slick, so I'm going to wipe my hands off on this microfiber cloth. Which is so good for everything, just about. Alright, so I'm going to pick the first section of hair. And do the same thing. Had a telehealth doctor's appointment this morning, and I was talking to the nurse a little bit because I just like make chit chat with people, especially when I'm stressed out. It's just a good way to like remind myself of all of our humanity and that people aren't terrible. But we're just making chit chat, and she was talking about like I asked her, you know, what the actual. Because I thought they just did like a mouth swab or something to test for corona. But no, it's like a swab that they put in your nose and like, ugh, that sounds terrible. But I was like, you know what? I've had a lumbar puncture. Like, that was probably worse. That was probably worse than the COVID test. Yeah, like I can handle somebody putting something in my nose. I have gradually acclimated myself to getting my blood drawn. I no longer like am completely terrified. Now I do insist that when I get my blood drawn that I go to LabCorp at East Georgia Regional because they are the only people who can find my freaking veins like on the first or second try without busting a vein or like hurting me or making me feel really anxious. Like they're just very good at taking blood. Surprise, surprise. So I always make sure to get an order and take it to the hospital. However, I've gotten acclimated to it. I can do it without being like petrified anymore, without like freaking out. So I can let somebody swab the upper inside of my nose from my car, which is what's gonna happen because CVS is doing drive-through testing. I did not know that was a thing until my husband was like, so nobody in town's doing drive-through testing? I was like, what is drive-through testing? Like, how, I just stick my head out the window and you like shove it up my nose? Like, I guess so, because it's a thing. So I have an appointment on Saturday for that delightful happening. I mean, fingers crossed I don't have it. But if I don't have it, it's also like, okay, why am I having these particular symptoms right now? So that's a whole thing all of its own. Like, no, I don't want COVID. I don't want that. But these symptoms are troubling. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's up. I never know what's up with my body. It's always surprising me. It's always like, hey, just when you think you've got, like, what you're dealing with kind of figured out, here's something new and unusual, like fever sometimes, like after light activity, like taking out the garbage or like picking up clutter. Like I monitored my fever all day yesterday, or my temperature rather, all day yesterday, just to like make sure I wasn't like, I don't know, just to check, just to like keep an eye on it. And I had a normal temperature except for directly after light activity. It was very, very strange. But I feel comforted that I'm not having like a sustained fever. But I mean, like, doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to get tested. I'm self-isolating. I canceled everything for like 2 weeks. Not that I had much going on anyways, because I'm still furloughed. And I don't think it's a good time to do wedding makeup for anybody. I think, not the best. Like, even though I love it and it's my favorite, I mean, one of my favorites, like, it's just, let's be safe. Let's be as safe as possible. Let's be preventative. Let's, take preventative measures so that, I just always think better safe than sorry. I'm all about some preventative care. I'm all about like, oh, this is different and weird. Like, let me talk to my doctor. Like, it may be nothing, but if it is nothing, she'll tell me it's nothing. And if it is something, then at least, there's a record of it happening, of it being a problem. And if I have that problem again in the future, they'll be more likely to take it seriously. So, advocating for yourself is a huge part of living well, or as well as possible, as a chronically ill person. I mean, you just have to you have to monitor stuff. You have to have an awareness of your bodily symptoms, what's normal, what's abnormal, and it takes a while to figure out what that is really. So I'm like a little over 2 years in from my fibromyalgia diagnosis, and I'm, just really this year being able to sort out like what of my symptoms are like side effects from medication, like what's my actual, fibro issues. Like, sorting that stuff out is not easy. It's very difficult, not just for us, as the chronically impaired folks, but like, it's difficult for doctors. I mean, people say like, oh, they're just kind of throwing stuff at you to see what sticks, and they really are, and they kind of have to, because treatment is so freaking individual, and like what medication works for me for fibromyalgia might not work for another patient. Like, it's very, like, I don't envy the doctors doing this, because it's not easy. Like, even though they have all the medical training and the years of experience, like, the treatments are so individual and unique to the person who's suffering. So it can be frustrating, but it is part of the process, and you just kind of have to roll with it and hope for the best. But you do have to very, very, very carefully self-monitor, because they can't do it for you. I mean, they don't know what you're going through on a daily basis unless you tell them, right? So you just keep, if you're like having pain issues, if you're having sickness issues and people aren't listening to you and you feel like you're not being heard, then you just keep talking. You talk a little bit louder and you talk a little bit more and you give them a little bit more detail and you like keep a journal and you have notes and you have like stuff like objective, or subjective, really, issues like where you've documented. That's the word I was looking for. Where it's been documented that you've been having these issues, and keeping up with it at home is going to make it a lot easier for you to be heard and seen and treated appropriately. So, you gotta be your own freaking advocate. It sucks. It sucks when people don't believe you. It sucks when people doubt you because you have, other stuff going on. Like if you are physically, chronically ill and you are also a little bit mentally ill, whether it's anxiety, depression, BPD in my case, like people are less likely to take you seriously. It's just kind of an unfortunate factoid. People think that you're a hypochondriac, that you're just doing it for attention or that you can't handle a little pain, when in reality for most of us, like, we've been handling a lot of pain for like a long time and without treatment or therapy or anything to really help us keep going. So people don't always quite understand like what you've been through by the time you ask for help. Like it's not like, oh, this just popped up just now and like, no, like I've been hurting for a while and I just put it off because like doctors are expensive, medical testing is expensive. If I had not been employed at Georgia Southern and had excellent insurance at the time that all my fibro stuff really started getting serious, I would be up to my eyeballs in medical debt. And I know a lot of people are. I mean, because when you're chronically ill, it's also difficult to be chronically employed. Like even the most flexible of workplaces with like the university with FMLA and with, the generous like amount of sick leave that they offered, it just wasn't enough. I was just sick too much and they needed somebody who could have their butt in the seat the majority of the time. And it's unfortunate, but I get it. But so it's hard to get in to see the doctor and to get the testing that you need. There's just not a lot of great options for people who don't have great medical insurance. It's just the fact of the matter. So that's my soapbox about being chronically ill and self-advocacy and just the life. Like if you've ever heard of the Greek, I think it's the Greek story of Cassandra, the prophetess who was doomed. I forget why she was cursed to have nobody believe her but be completely right every time. It sort of feels like that a lot, because people are like, oh, like, just smile and feel better, and, why don't you exercise, or, like, have you tried this, have you tried CBD, have you tried this snake oil yet, have you tried this multivitamin, and you're like, yeah, dude, I've tried a lot of those things, and like, no, I do not think that your multivitamin is going to take the place of my prescribed medications anytime in the near future. Because unfortunately, people also prey on the chronically ill to kind of get them suckered into products and services that they may not like actually need or may not even be helpful. But we're just so burned out of being sick that sometimes it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, I'll try anything to feel better, right? I mean, we would try anything. Um, and I can't tell you the number of times that I've actually heard somebody say, oh, I had fibromyalgia and like I started taking this multivitamin. Now I feel a lot better. I'm like, then you probably didn't have fibromyalgia. Like, sorry to say, but like a multivitamin ain't doing anything for that. For like your pain and your fatigue. And I mean, you can take a vitamin B. I tried vitamin B. Um, it was not successful. But I mean, and like I said, like there are different things work for different people. So I mean, who knows? Maybe a multivitamin did cure this lady's fibromyalgia, but I am rightfully skeptical of that. All right, last section, suckers. Ready for some shiny, shiny curls. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. And for this last section, I'm actually going to curl it a little bit more loosely. So the curls aren't super tight up at the crown. I just want them to sort of like fall and be loosely wavy. I'm not like looking for a Shirley Temple do today per se. That's like not what I'm. It's not the goal. Turning the curling iron to the offsetting important step. So you can see I've got all these curls. I'm gonna hairspray them. And I'm gonna let them rest and set. So this guy is pretty much done. It's not all the way dried out, but that's okay. So I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna take a break while my hair sets. But real quick, when you are finished with your sheet mask, there's like a lot of essence left over in here, so you can just sort of like squeeze it out like so. Alright, so it's like all over my hand now, but just rub, oops, got it in my hair, rub it all over your skin and your neck. Essence is good for you, so you're not allergic to it. And I've already done my skincare. I did my skincare prior to this, so this is just like on top of all that like moisturizer and snail goo that I use. Just an extra added layer of happy. And I really like make sure to rub it in places like Underneath my nose gets a little bit dry. The corners of my mouth tend to get dry. Just really rub that ish in. Rub it in like my eyebrows because they tend to get a little bit dry. Voila! Alright, I'm gonna take a break and then I will come back and do my makeup routine. And yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Okay.